I'm here with another appliance review for the Home Depot Seeds program. This is for a Samsung electric range, 6.3 cubic foot smart freestanding range with air fry and griddle. It's the convection, true convection version. So I'm gonna unwrap it, show you how to actually hook up the electrical. There's no cord pre-installed. The delivery that you get could come with installation, but if you need to know how to put the cord on, I will be going over that as well. So I have everything all unboxed and took off all the packing stuff. You can see good size. There's the convection fan on the back, broiler heating element. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelves. The drawer, so far that is one thing I'm a little unhappy about. It is small. Now part of that is obviously because this is a fairly big oven. It's a large oven space. So because of that, obviously gonna have a smaller drawer space on the bottom. So just know that when you go to buy it. So if you store things under there or anything like that, it might be a little different. This one, here's the griddle. I'm pretty excited about that. I like to use a griddle to make several different things. It'll be interesting to see how well it actually works. There's the air fryer pan that it comes with, a anti-tipping device to put on the back. You kind of slide the foot into there when you put it in place, and then that'll make it so kids can't tip it over or anything like that. And then 3 manuals: your install manual, the Smart Things app manual, and then a general simple user manual, which is actually fairly thick, but hopefully it's simple. So I'll go ahead and look at installing the electric next. Just so you know, it will not come with that cord, like I said. So you need to buy whatever is correct for you. I need a 3-prong for my house, so I have a 3-prong, and that's what I'll be installing. A 4-prong is not much different on the install. And one nice thing, might be a little dark back here, but it shows you right on the back, right next to your actual hookup, how to actually hook up the wires and do it the correct way. So it should be pretty obvious once you get going which one goes where, but just in case, they've got a picture right next to you in case you set the install manual somewhere. So I'm at the back of the stove, and I've already done some of the work ahead of time. I got out my conduit, took out my cord, and one thing I do want to point out, when you are reading the instructions, it will talk about the white, neutral, black, and red wires. Well, most cords are all gray like this. So for someone who doesn't do much electrical work, they might be really worried about that. The main thing is this middle wire is your neutral. It is skinnier. It's got neutral written on it most of the time. And the other 2 are hot. And it doesn't matter if they're black or red. So it could go on this way, or it could flip around. And as long as the neutral is in the middle, it doesn't really matter, okay? But before we do any of that work, you take this screw off the back. It's kind of connected by tabs over here, but once this screw comes out, it does have a tendency to drop, so I'm gonna kind of hold it. And then on the inside, there's a conduit plate, and it's actually easiest and best if you just take that out and kind of remember the way that it was in there. So it was in like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cord supports, which are going to go like that, and I will place them through the conduit hole. So they're kind of like that, and then I'll tighten them down. Now you've got to make sure, you can see the way I have it right now, if I put that in there, it'd be sticking out the back. So I'm gonna have to kind of turn this to the side, and then I'll pick it up and check it and make sure it's gonna be good first. So I'm gonna get that kind of set up and get the cord up through the bottom, and then I'll show you where we're at. Okay, so you can see I got the conduit part back in there with the cord holder. I let these loose so I can move it around, and then I've got my black, neutral, and red, or really it's hot, and neutral, like we talked about. The two side ones don't matter. I went ahead and took out one of the screws. Just a tip, they are in there pretty hard from the factory. It's a Phillips, standard Phillips, but it's a lot easier if you have a multi-screwdriver to just take that out and use this to get it loose, so you don't strip your screws out. And so then I'm not going to show you connecting all three, but I'm going to go ahead and just, once you get that screw out, you line this up, put it on the screwdriver, and then we just place it in and tighten it down. On a 3-wire, the ground strap just stays where it is. Don't move it. On a 4-wire hookup, that's all that changes. You take that out and you move the ground strip and you put on the 4th wire as your ground wire. So pretty simple wiring. I'll just take off the neutral and put it on. I'll take off the other positive and put it on, and then I'll tighten everything and close it back up. So pretty simple. There is a screw to hold that conduit down, conduit holder down, once I get that all tightened and put away. All right, I got the electrical installed, and I'm kind of just doing a basic setup. It tells you in the manual the first thing you should do is turn it on to 400 degrees and run it for an hour to kind of clean out the inside. And so I'll show you. Right now it's at 246. It's been on for about 3.5 minutes, and you can kind of see it's a little smoky when you open it. You can see the fan moving in the back, the convection. So it's got a little bit of a smell, and that's normal. You just run it, and once it's all clean, then I'll go through the rest of the setup and install. All right, the initial preheat to 400 to clean it got done a little over a minute ago. So it took right around 9 to 10 minutes to get to 400, which is about 3 minutes faster than my old oven. And then I'm also getting ready to make some eggs, try out the cooktop. So I've got that set. You can see kind of the triple setup there. If I switch this over to the triple, you can see heats up all of them. If I switch down to the double, just the 2, or the single, it's actually already warm since I had it running. And it heats up pretty fast. It's already pretty warm, only been on for about a minute. So we'll see how it goes. All right, the initial heat up and cleaning of the oven is done, and like I said, I made something on the stovetop, and that worked great. Now I'm putting in the bracket to stop it from tipping, to make sure it doesn't tip. This is kind of an optional step. It's safer if you have young kids, but it is not easy to tip as is. You know, most ovens aren't, but just to be safe, I am putting this on here. Pretty simple setup. If you are going to put it on the floor, into the floor, it comes with a little paper bracket you cut out, has a little corner mark, and so you'd line that up in the corner and drill where the holes show if you want to connect it directly to the floor. You only use 2 of the screws, so you just kind of do 2 opposite, whichever 2 work best for you. One thing to notice is, depending on your cabinet, my cabinet has this little part that sticks out, so my oven is actually in this far. So using this template, I would not put it against the wood. I would want it to stick out like that, so I'd have to do that back here. You can see that's kind of how mine is lined up. I just measured that distance, and instead of doing it to my laminate floor, I'm using the option to go back into these 2 with the larger screws, and here's the smaller ones if you're going into hardwood. So I'm using the larger screws. They kind of go in at an angle so that they go down into the wall sill plate, which is down here. Up here, there might be studs, you'd have to find them, but then it's probably not gonna hit both screws. So that's why you go at an angle and end up down into the sill plate. It's an 1/8 inch bit, drilled in at an angle. I've already drilled that one. Kind of see the angle that it's going down at. And now I'm getting ready to put the screw in. It's a Phillips, it's a number 3 size. So your number 2 size isn't gonna work. You're gonna have to get a little bigger tip. Almost looks like a square on the end. Doesn't want to focus on that, but a bigger tip, number 3 size. And I'm gonna finish that. Once you do that, you level the feet, which are under here. Let's see if I can get a flash on. There we go. Pretty simple. You can turn a lot of them by hand, and then once you get them far enough, you just get a wrench to get that last little bit, and you're just trying to make it level. You can set a level on it and get it perfect, or a lot of times people just get it so it's not rocking and moving. Totally up to you. So I'm going to get that done, and then I'll move on to actually getting it fully set up with the SmartThings set up in the app, and we'll try doing the air fryer and cooking a couple things. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set up the SmartThings app. So it's got a little scan thing here, and that takes me to it. It says get started with your range, so I'm going to hit start. Location, yeah, my home, it's in the kitchen. Okay. On your range, press and hold the smart control button for more than 3 seconds. So, smart control. Okay, beeps, shows the AP. Showing some circles. There we go. And now it's looking for the app. Okay, I'm gonna pause this while I put this. All right, so that is in. It is registering it. The stove is just showing some blue lines going around in a circle. Now it's showing a Wi-Fi signal, so it's trying to connect. And I'll give it a second and come back when it's done. Oh, might be done. It's showing a circle. Now it's showing the time on the range. And it is done. Device name, range, yep, that's fine. And we'll hit done. Okay. So let's check our devices. Several different things. And there's the range. The oven is ready. So we can set up baking, turn on the oven light. Yep, that turns it on. The cooktop, it just tells us if it's off or on, which that makes sense. That's good. Change our different types. So there's kind of the basic app. I'll play around with it. Let you know if there's anything else, but looks like it's pretty simple, straightforward setup. All right, going to use the oven to bake a couple pizzas tonight. I set the oven to 425, so it's almost done preheating, and then we'll start the pizzas. I did want to point out, I used the app at first to set it to 425, and then you have to set a timer on it, and it sends it up here, and then when you press start, it starts that timer. So it doesn't quite work the way I would want it to in this instance. And here's the musical buzzer. And then I just got a notification on my phone that it's done. So there's not really a way that I've been able to figure out to shut that off, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna put these in and we'll see how they do. Okay, we had the pizzas, everything went great. Actually finished a little earlier than expected, which is actually kind of what I would expect on a convection oven. Now I wanted to kind of do a temp test. So I've got my grill eye, which I have a video on one of these. It's really great. I love the app. It gives me a nice graph, which maybe I'll show you guys later. But I've got 2 temp probes in, one at 77.4, one at 79. The higher temperature one is the one up on top. Still some residual heat from the pizzas I made a while ago. But I'm gonna go ahead and close those in there. I'm gonna do just a test on bake at 400. Start that, and then I'm also going to go with a timer, and we're gonna go 40 minutes and just run it and see how the temperature does. Okay, right at 6 minutes in on the test. The oven itself says it's at 296 and climbing pretty quickly. The temp probes say 275 and 291. Number 5, the one on the right, the higher one, is the one on the upper rack, so that does make sense. You can see the heating element, which is going to be closer to that higher one. We'll turn the light on. So that higher temp probe is obviously going to be registering higher. So we'll see how it goes as it continues to preheat. Okay, just about 10 minutes, and there it is, hit 400. There's the preheating, and on my temps, I've got 396, and it's a lot more even now. You can see that that convection is evening everything out. Temp probes are still in the same place. Like I said, right at 10 minutes, just under. For reference, my old oven, 400 degrees, it would set a 14-minute timer. It did not have a temperature measurement on the oven itself, so I don't know if it actually took that long, but this is about 4 minutes faster. And as you can see, pretty accurate as far as the temperature goes. Okay, in almost 24 minutes, just under 24 minutes, temperatures still right around 400. Interestingly, the lower one, the one on the bottom, has remained consistently higher. So I'm gonna do a little, maybe you need to open the oven, take something out, flip it around, take something out, switch it with the one on the bottom, open for a little bit, and then you get it closed. And you can see how much they've dropped. Still going down a little bit. And then now it's starting to recover. So we'll see how long that takes to recover. We'll check that graph at the end. So 15 more minutes, and then I'll show that graph. All right, so here is the grill eye set up on the app to show you the graph. You can see it's been off for a couple minutes and the oven's still holding a little over 400. But if I go in here and go to this last 30-minute cooking session and we pull up the graph, you can see it kind of goes up and down, what you'd expect. Looks like our max was right at the end, 420 and 408, and our minimum, which was right after it had said it was all the way, or excuse me, that was right before it had said it was all the way warmed up, was 372. But after it was at 400, it looks like the lowest it dropped to is 375 and 381. So not terrible. You can see it recovered pretty quickly when it got down to its coldest. When I opened the door midway through, recovered pretty quickly. And that's a pretty typical heat range if you were to take a temperature and graph it out on a normal stove. So overall, really happy. Hopefully I'll get to try out the air fry and the griddle at some point, and I'll add that. All right, here for the air fryer test with some bacon. Might do some French fries later on this week. Got it at 400 degrees. Got my air fryer pan sitting on top of another pan, and I added a little bit of water to that other pan, mainly to hopefully help with not smoking as the grease drops through. I'll probably put that pan below. Inside there, I'll probably put it underneath to catch the drippings, and that way the air can flow around the bacon a little better. So I'm gonna get it in. I'll run it probably 8 minutes and then check it. Should be around 8 to 10 minutes. Also gonna be using the griddle. So I'll show the results from that, and I'll show using the griddle to make some French toast. All right, got the air fryer bacon basically done. The pan beneath worked well, not smoky. And then got the griddle going. You can see the French toast working well. I set it a little above a 6 to start to get it warm, and then now I've got it around a 5.5, I guess. And it seems to be about right for my purposes. But both the griddle and air fryer are working well. You can kind of see, oh, it just heated up. Here, I'll crank these just for a second. You can kind of see when those kick on, the red light of the middle one. There's a middle section that heats up when you have that turned on, and that's shown kind of in a picture there. So it turns on both or just the one. But all working really well. Really happy with it so far, and we'll see how maybe some French fries come out in the next couple days. Okay, promised I'd do the air fryer French fries, so they're in there. Found a recipe, said 380 for 12 minutes, and I found one that said 380 for like 20 minutes, so I kind of just went in between and with 15 minutes, and we'll see how they come out. And the main thing is I just add time if they're not crispy enough. So a little bit of oil and throw them in the air fryer. We'll see. All right, done with the fries. Came out pretty good. I think I overpacked it a little bit. There were some that were stuck together, didn't cook as much, and then the ones on the edges, of course, cooked a little faster. They had better airflow. So I think next time I just need to do a smaller batch or a couple smaller batches. But came out about like normal home fries, but a little crispier on some of them. So I think I'll just need to play around with it. I was really happy with the air fried bacon the other night, and I think as I get more used to it, it'll work out really well. Okay, I just wanted to end the video with just kind of an overall impression summary. I've been very happy with the oven. Had it about 2 weeks at this point. I have used the air fryer, normal baking mode, the griddle, and the cooktop, and everything has worked out well. I'm getting better at the air fryer. I don't have any comparison, so I can't compare it to a standalone air fryer. The griddle works great. It's easy to control the temperature. I've used it for French toast and for pancakes. The stove top and the oven both get hot quicker than my old standard electric oven, and the bake time with the convection is better than our old oven. Heats things up much more quickly. So overall, very happy with it. It's a good unit. It works well, and I would highly suggest it.